What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dobrunsky here. In today's video, I'm going to be highlighting the drops from doing 1,000 TRAVINCAL runs with my Fist Heavens Paladin on Battle.net. So I did this as a solo players one effort. And the reason why I wanted to make this video project is because for those that don't know, TRAVINCAL players one solo is the best place to farm a burr and a jaw rune in the game, period. So again, we're not including like group cows or group chaos sanctuary. Solo by yourself, TRAVINCAL is the best location. So you guys can see the drop highlights and sort of gauge, kind of get a feel for what you'll be in for if you do plan on doing a few hundred or 1,000 Trav runs on Battle.net. And I do also want to point out at the start of this video, I'm going to spend a little bit of time covering some optimal mercenary setups, because I cannot tell you how many times I was asked, how are you getting a mercenary to face tank Hydras? And I'm going to lay down the blueprint for 3 different optimal mercenary setups so they will never die, so you'll be set that way. And again, before we jump in, just for those that are interested, if you do enjoy this YouTube content, I do stream twice a week on Twitch, where I actually did live stream all these drop highlights you're going to see. So if you do enjoy this content, any follows on that platform would be very much appreciated. That being said, guys, let's jump in. So I first want to spend a little bit of time covering the Fist Heavens Paladin setup that I did use to do these 1,000 Trav runs. Now, I think in general, the Fist Heavens Paladin is actually a super solid character for farming Trav for a couple of reasons. The first is you have access to the Aura of Vigor, so this allows you to run through the docks a lot quicker. Prior to D2R, when we had faster load screens, we'd typically clear TRAVINCAL and then teleport back to Chaos Sanctuary, and then you would recycle the run because it would save you having to run across the docks in Act 3. But I think that with the slower loading screens, it's almost faster to just run the docks, and especially with the Vigor Aura, it's a very good option for the Fist Heavens Paladin. The second big plus of this character is you have the combination of using Fist Heavens or Holy Bolt, so works really good for single target damage, and then Holy Bolt is obviously very good for AoE effect. It's a lot better, in my opinion, and a lot easier to take out the council than it is kind of slinging your hammers as a Hammerden. Again, that's sort of a personal preference thing, but I definitely think that the Foden excels there. And finally, you have access to the Aura Resist Fire. This is a phenomenal aura that you can main as a Fist Heavens Paladin and have an Insight Mercenary, and you can get away with not having to use those crazy gear setups like Rald Kira's Guardian and Rald Guardian Angel. You can have a Mercenary that has over 90% fire res that can still wear Fortitude and have a life leech weapon. You can have Insight for mana recovery. It's just a super solid option, and all 3 of those together I just think makes the Fist Heavens a phenomenal character for farming Trav. And for the duration of these runs, I had about 200% Magic Find with a 125 FCR charging setup, so I still don't have Enigma, or at least I didn't at the time of this video. I would just charge and then use the combination of Fist Heavens and Holy Bolt. Again, I had about 200% Magic Find, which I was actually expecting a couple more uniques with the amount of MF that I had, so maybe you might want to gauge that appropriately. If you're going to do Trav runs, you might want to run even less, like maybe 100, although I didn't have more skillers, but I think that the uniques that I got in this video kind of demonstrates you might be a little bit better off having more skillers than MF small terms. But now I want to cover 3 different mercenary blueprints that I promise you will survive TRAVINCAL. Your mercenary will not fall over and die immediately. So the first one, and again, I should actually point this out before we jump into the mercenary setups, is that any combination of non-eth or ethereal, and then obviously cheaper or more expensive items in those sockets will kind of equate to whether you're sort of budget or more high-end. But the first mercenary is Rald Kira's Guardian, Rald Guardian Angel, and a Reaper's Toll. So obviously like Eth Toll with an Ohm Rune, and better sockets and a G Angel, like maybe a 15 IS 35 res jewel, that'd be kind of more high-end. Budget approach would be like an Ammed Reaper's Toll, and then again Ral Rune and the Guardian Angel and Kira's Guardian. So this setup will give you 90% fire res under a TRAVINCAL Conviction Aura and Life Leech into Crep, so it works really well for a budget caster or a budget melee character. Now the second mercenary is kind of along the same lines, except you're using Infinity. The Conviction Aura from the Rumored Infinity is a higher level than the Conviction Aura that will spawn on the TRAVINCAL Council, so it overrides it similar to the same way that a high-level Conviction Aura will override Uber Mephistos. So in this case, you don't need to overstack your fire res to compensate. We're not going to be running double Ral Runes in our body armor and our helmet. So for this setup, I'd recommend Infinity for the weapon, Rald Guardian Angel, so this will give you 90 fire res, but then I recommend a V-Gaze with either a Cham Rune or an Rune. So Cham Rune gives you Cannot Be Frozen, Rune will cap the rest of your res, but V-Gaze is really good because you have DR to counteract any curses like amp damage, magic damage reduced, and life leech. Very solid option, a little bit more expensive because using Infinity, but definitely will survive TRAVINCAL without any issues at all. And the third and final setup is really just a standard mercenary setup, so life leech, hard-hitting weapon, body armor can be treachery or fortitude, but it accompanies a Fist Heavens Paladin that's using the Resist Fire Aura as a main aura. So this will give your mercenary a metric shit ton of fire res, as well as an additional high % maximum fire res. So my setup I had, I believe, was an additional plus 16 fire res points. So I had a Fortitude Mercenary with Crown of Thieves and Insight and a Thresher that had 91% fire res. So I was able to get around using that crazy like double rowed armor and helmet combo. So I could still have high damage, life leech, etc. So kind of your standard mercenary formula, but then it's just paired with using Resist Fire Aura on a Fist Evans Paladin. But that is kind of the 3 recommended setups that I would suggest, guys. I know some people have messed around with the Act 5 Mercenary, kind of dual Eth Head Striker or Eth Head Striker and Grief combination might work good, but these are definitely tried and true, and I would recommend them over everything else. That's kind of everything I wanted to cover for the Mercenary, so now we'll dive into the recap of the loot from 1,000 TRAVINCAL runs. Ink Ring. Non-Eth Rockstopper. 215, 20 Dexterity Ravenfrost. Oh, Haas! First Trav run in. $191 enhanced defense Haas. Unique ring! Oh, it's another Ravenfrost. One to offensive auras and 7 faster run walk? Come on! If that was a Picom and 7 fast run walk, that would help out so much for charging Paladin to get to Trav, but round, and I felt so horrible for that. Unique amulet! Rising Sun. $11 to life, 11 fire res. That's perfect for the resistance, but need higher plus life. As my friend Chicken Chaser would say, it is a mobile first game ported over to PC. 2 to Poison and Bone Skills, 10 FCR, 45 extra gold fine, and 13 to mana. Dude, that is a killer amulet for... You want to make like a Trav farming Bone Necro. Hey, 7% magic fine, 5% fire resistance. That's a nice upgrade for small term. Was I on the wrong aura there? I think I was. Hey, a plain cold skill. Plain cold skiller. Hey! There we go. Took 205 runs to get an ist today, boys. Being the person, really great way to improve the trading process. Jamals. $153 enhanced defense to Lol's main. Had like a Kira's Guardian. Another cold skiller. DC. 1 to Javelin and Spear skills. Okay. I will... That's more damage for my my Poison Javelin. For those that are a part of Slarp's community and just tuning in, I'm doing a 1,000 TRAVINCAL run project. I'm trying to solo self-found a CTA and Enigma. And is that not a pretty cool jewel? 15 all res, negative 15% requirement jewel? That's a very... Like, just hear me out. Hear me out. Throwing that in a Crown of Ages. I think that would be a pretty cool jewel to put in a COA. That would drop its strength requirement down a ton, and you would get a bunch of additional resistance. Or Storm Shield. Yeah, that is a sick jewel. That they could do, like, I want to see... Oh! Oh! There we go! Finally! The first worthwhile rune. Players 1 low and a Tal's Amulet? Ah, Vidalas. Okay, well, we got a low rune. Nice chat. Hey, Bilky, you're really lacking on the use of the follower Pepes, eh? Hey, unique Tiara? Kira's Guardian? Ooh, 54 all res. It's Dookie. Appreciate that, Roko. Thank you, man. Hey, Polaroon! Okay, we'll take that. That's an interesting Grand Charm. 6 to max damage, 37 to attack rating, and 22% extra gold find. Okay, here we go, guys. Come on, Merc, you gotta hit him. You gotta hit him and not the Fallen. Come on. Let's go. See, I told you this was gonna work. Look. It's slow, but it's gonna work. Diablo clone just walked. Merc's got it. Arb, another 30? My god. Wow. 50. I'm losing track. 101. Wow, dude. Time for me to go full time. Live off of Arbolinos. Wow, thank you, man. Holy shit. Wow. You guys did not think I could do my anti-charm without life tap and crushing blow. I just showed you how it's done. Let's see what we got. We're 12, 19, 8. So not that crazy, but what did I replace it with? 12, 19, 8 with a 14, 11, 7. There was no excuse to not be using Pepe's in chat. Hey, we got a facet. What do you think, chat? 5-5 light? 4-3 fire. It's a... Oh, Shaco! Very, very nice. 117 defense Shaco, so it's actually just a little bit worse than my current Shaco. Haha! That's the second Shaco I found this ladder. It's in like... Oh, F Bonehew. That was an Ogre Axe, right? 306 ED F Bonehew. That's a solid find. 170 to 881. If you're super wealthy and you slam like 2 Omerins in this, you can get well over 1,000 damage. It's more of like a it's like a niche weapon for mercs for like a Corpse Explosion Necro, but super solid find. Might find a couple decent charms in a playthrough, but most of them are shit. So I don't know, in my opinion, how much weight that argument has. Hey! 1 to lightning skills, GC. We'll take it. Any lightning sorcerers in chat want to trade a lightning GC for a Java GC? I'll do a straight trade for that. 2 to barb skills, 19 FCR is my final craft. I wish that was 2 to Amazon skills, 19 FCR. You could use that for 99 FCR teleporting Javazon. -3 plus 5, so that's... It's okay. The reason why I was kind of bummed that it got nerfed was because for like the first time ever... Hey, 1 to traps. Okay, so back-to-back lightning facet and a 1 to trap skiller. That's okay.